Welcome to Good Game, I'm Bajo.
And I'm Hex.
This week, we explore, we hunt, and we die a lot.
Yeah, so many failures.
What a grueling week of gaming we've had, Hex. We've been playing two very combat-driven video games which have Dark Souls-like difficulty curves. Actually, it's less of a curve and more of a cliff face.
Yeah, I needed a lot of cat hugs. First, there were the fantastical beasts of Monster Hunter Generations.
And we made our way down into the depths of Necropolis.
Oh, exploding guy!
Don't you explode? What if I hit him first? Yep.
Oh, good job.
Plus, Goose checks out a thriving online coding academy in Gympie, Queensland.
We have a number of students over the years who I don't think would have completed their senior secondary schooling and getting their Queensland Certificate of Education if it hadn't been for coding.
An excellent homegrown initiative, that one. But before all that, can you name the game for this week? Monster Hunter. It started on PS2 about 12 years ago, and it's played by millions of people in Japan. But here, it's still seen very much as a niche cult game.
Well, I think that mainstream acceptance is coming, just ever so slowly. But maybe Generations will be the one that'll finally go large.
Perhaps. At its core, this is still the same Monster Hunter gameplay loop. Equip the best gear you can, venture out into a gorgeous, unspoilt fantasy wilderness, track, pursue, and slay fantastical beasts, harvest their body parts to craft better armor and weapons, then do it all again. But this is no walk in the park, is it, Hex?
No, and from gamers who've tried it, you hear the same two stories. Either I tried it for a few hours and got frustrated and gave up, or I was frustrated for a few hours and then it all kind of clicked and I couldn't stop playing.
Yeah, absolutely. You really need to work on your muscle memory to excel in this game. There's a lot of esoteric metagaming and also gear optimization to get lost in. But like veterans of Dark Souls, veteran monster hunters take justifiable pride in their hard-earned skills.
The new installment is called Generations because it's a celebration of the game's history, a real love letter to the fans. You get to revisit 3 of the iconic villages from previous games: Kokoda Village from the original Monster Hunter on PS2, Poke Village from Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, and Yukomo Village from Monster Hunter Portable 3rd, which was never released in Australia. Plus, its menagerie of 71 different monsters includes many fan favourites. And you can be a cat.
I'm a cat. I'm a kitty cat.
And you dance, and you dance.
Generations introduces Prowler mode, where you can bench your human hunter and quest as a cat. The dream, Hex!
I mean, it's a bit of a gimmick, but I was impressed by how it makes the whole game feel quite fresh. The control scheme is much simpler, so it's much more forgiving for new players. Prowlers don't need pickaxes or bug nets to harvest resources, so they're perfect for gathering quests.
Gathering in general is much faster, and now you can hold down A to gather continuously. Only took them 12 years to think of that.
Well, better late than never. But back to the cats. Prowlers are viable for combat too, and they offer a really different perspective. Because the felines are so tiny, the monsters loom all the larger. Meow, meow.
It's hard not to want to play the whole game just as a cat, Hex. Another big change is the introduction of 4 distinct hunting styles. These alter the moveset of your weapon and let you charge up power bars to unleash flamboyant special moves. Guild style keeps the classic Monster Hunter movesets. Striker style makes heavier use of the new arts and lets you charge them up faster. Aerial style emphasizes leaping attacks. And finally, Adept style is all about putting yourself in dangerous situations and pulling off spectacular attacks at the last possible moment.
So while there are the same 14 weapon classes from Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, there are essentially now 56 different ways to play. No, 57 if you include cat mode.
Yeah, there's more customization than ever before, and for Monster Hunter, that's really saying something.
Yeah, I was really impressed with how much content they've crammed in there. Monster Hunter games usually have one flagship boss monster, but Generations has 4. And there are now new deviant monsters to hunt. Grizzled survivors who have weathered prior attempts to slay them and who offer a meatier challenge.
Overall, there's been subtle rebalancing to the game's mechanics, loads of incremental tweaks and upgrades, but this should be easier to learn by now. This game should be easier for newcomers, and it's absolutely not.
Yeah, that's true. Crafting, combining, cat management. The game mechanics on the whole are very dense, almost impenetrable. There's in-game help and training quests, but for the most part you feel like you have no choice but to check online guides to help you get through this experience.
Yeah, even things like no health bars on monsters. I imagine that's pretty off-putting for new players. Why won't you die? The randomized quest rewards are a real troll too. You never seem to get what you really want.
Well, there is even an urban legend behind that, where people believe the game is purposely programmed to lessen the chance of giving you what you actually want, just to keep you playing. It's called the desire sensor.
Which the developers have denied, but still. Now, as far as the graphics go on 3DS, I was surprised at how good this game looks at times.
Yeah, it's fine for 3DS, I guess, but after playing Dragon's Dogma, I can't help but wonder how good a Monster Hunter would look on current-gen console.
Yeah, I want that. Also another Dragon's Dogma. But I guess ultimately the core appeal to this game is the real sense of mastery you get from overcoming fearsome boss monsters, then slaying those monsters in shorter and shorter times.
It's also quite a funny game, isn't it? You get your pre-quest buffs from a fondue fountain, you can pat sheep, and everyone you meet is eccentric. For want of a better word, this game is just comfy.
Yeah, rugging up and hunting away the rest of winter is definitely an option.
Monster Hunter isn't so much of a game as a hobby, and unlike Dark Souls, which I find a little bit grim, I think I just enjoy the fantasy world and Generations a lot more. If you're looking for a game to spend a casual 200 or 300 hours in, well, you found it. I'm giving it 4.
This isn't a game that you'll just burn through on a weekend. It'll take you days just to figure out what is going on. It requires dedication. I do think this is a great game, and I'm a fan of this series, but it is absolutely time for an entire overhaul of everything. So I'm gonna give it 3.5 stars.
Right now, there's a coding revolution happening, and it's taking place somewhere you might not expect, the regional centre of Gympie in Queensland. It's the work of high school teacher Ken Brady, who's created a coding and game design syllabus that might just transform Gympie into a tech hub. So Ken, how did you go from teaching maths to teaching coding here at Gympie High?
I was very lucky. I had a very supportive principal, Murray Wegner, who, when I pitched the idea to him of being able to introduce a program that would engage students, he was very supportive and helped me get some funding to start that off. I was able to tap into some Voc Ed curriculum and develop that around game design and game development. And that's grown over time. It's turned into a Certificate 4 course now. And then more recently, I've managed to get some federal funding to be able to grow that even bigger and branch out into the 3D modelling side of things, the programming side of things, game development, game design.
Thank you. All right, Ken, so this is your domain.
Yep.
Talk me through it.
Well, this was originally a science classroom, which we've custom built.
Okay.
Specially set up this way. I've made sure that all the kids have got dual monitors for their work. Sometimes when I have other teachers come in here, they think it's a big boys' bedroom rather than actually a classroom. But it sets a perfect environment for the kids to be able to learn gaming in here like this. It'd be very static and sterile if I didn't have the posters up here.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So obviously this is a bit of a different classroom. You've got posters of games on the wall. How do you keep the kids controlled and how do you keep them focused on what they need to be doing?
Well, I mean, the great thing is obviously the kids want to be here, so it doesn't take much to be able to engage them. But then it's about being able to introduce these tricky concepts to them in a way that they can break them down and be able to learn them. So I've got a couple of processes where I can take control of the students' screens and have my screen on theirs so that they can be concentrating and mimicking exactly what I'm doing at the same time. That will be me introducing the initial concept. From there, they go away and practice and repeat that process a number of times so they can get those steps down. I'll give you some hints. It's a combo of left and right mouse button which lets you do stuff. Oh, whoa, The kids are allowed to come in at break times, so they feel like this can be their safety space, so they can come in and work on their project work, they can play other games that they might be playing, they might be desktop card games, they might be other computer games that they're playing. But then I also have the ability for students to be able to borrow from my class library of games, which we've set up.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So we've got a fairly extensive library of games that date back from now all the way back, say, for the
Old school, seriously.
last decade or more. That's
So
right.
how does this work? The kids get to take games out whenever they want?
No.
or-
Students have to earn access to the library.
They earn access?
That's right.
How do
So
they do that?
They have to have completed their first project successfully.
Okay.
And then they have to contribute to the library as well. They're all dual layer set up.
You're
So we've
joking?
got-
Is it under a Dewey Decimal System or is it just how you keep them organised?
Unfortunately, no, it's just simply in an access database so that I can tell who's borrowed what.
It's still pretty good.
It's one of those classes where I find that because they're so motivated to want to get the end product there, that even the students who would normally be struggling, they're really keen to put in that extra bit of time. But then the fantastic thing about the class is they're also a very supportive group. And so the top kids are very happy. Hey, I see you start, can I give you a hand, help you out with that particular thing?
Yeah, it's kind of a good community that we could go in here, because if someone does need help, they can be like, hey, do you know how to do this? Yeah. And then, of course, we can offer them. And if we're also having trouble, then we can be like, look over and see what other people are doing and that kind of stuff. So it's really good, yeah.
How much time would you say you spend in this room compared to other classes at school?
I know I've consumed a lot of lunch breaks in this classroom because it is pretty sweet.
Coding's been part of what we've done as a school for nearly a decade, and really that's the driving force behind Ken and his team in our ICT department.
What have been some of the benefits that you've seen as the program's progressed?
Teachers, for instance, have embraced it in the areas that we've trialled it, because they see it as an area that they can learn easily as well, that they can see that it is a tool to engage kids, because really there's no such thing as a behaviour management issue when you're taking kids through these courses. They love it. And we have a number of students over the years who I don't think would have completed their senior secondary schooling and getting their Queensland Certificate of Education if it hadn't been for coding to keep them involved in school.
What are some of the challenges you face being a school in a regional area like Gympie?
We're a low socio-economic area, and like many parts of rural Australia, we bob around with the ebb and flow of the local economy, and at this point in time, kids can see that we've got a resource that they can access at school, and that's crucial because some outside of school don't have that access, and that's important for our community and important for keeping kids engaged.
Was this class one of the reasons you've actually started to come to this school?
It was absolutely the reason I came to this school. This and some of the other computer and sort of engineering-based stuff.
And so what have you got out of the course so far since you've been here?
Oh, all sorts of things. I'm just starting on building a model for a sort of top-down scrolling shooter, which has been really great. Learning some really, really powerful, awesome software, some industry standard stuff.
What's something you'd hope to get as a job in the future?
Probably working for a games company, doing coding. That's what I really, really like, the sort of nice logic-based operations of code.
Dealing with a subject like video games, is it a difficult process for you to convince other teachers, parents, that this can be a learning tool, that you're taking something that was initially a bit of a distraction and flipping it on its head to be a learning tool?
Absolutely. In fact, that was a very big hurdle. It wasn't so much my admin that I had to convince, it was other teachers, that they saw gaming as playing games rather than gaming as designing games, planning the game, programming the game, creating the art for the game. It wasn't actually until I actually had a science head of department who took the class. He sat in on the class and was a student. Having him work all the way through the class with me and him getting the same qualification that the students got, I had another fellow advocate out there as the head of department who was able to help me convince the other staff that no, it wasn't a game, it was a serious process.
Recently, Ken has also expanded the program to one of the local primary schools, where he now teaches game design to students in years 5 and 6.
You know, roughly.
Have you found yourself picking up any coding skills yourself?
Game maker, programming, coding. That's absolutely foreign to me, and it's keeping your head above water curriculum as a teacher, but there's no other option because it's new. It's new to classrooms, it's new to curriculum, it's new to the education department.
And why do you think it is an important thing to foster in children?
Because I know that this is the future. All of these kids, by the time they're adults, every job, every profession is going to be technology orientated. It already is, it's only going to be more so.
A big difference, obviously, between the junior class and the senior is the amount of girls partaking in it. Do you see that as a challenge to bring everyone through the course together?
It is disappointing, the number of female students that drop away as it comes into the senior years, yeah. And I haven't yet been able to reconcile why that is. I think it may just simply be the fact that because it has started as a boy-heavy class and the girls that are looking at it in junior classes go, I don't really want to break into that larger, fairly boy-centric environment. That said, though, the girls that have managed to stick it out all the way through the class, they've been fantastic. I've got graduates from the class who were girls who are now working in AAA studios. One who went and worked for 2K and was working on the Borderlands, the pre-sequel. So I'm very proud of the girls who do want to stick it out and get right through to the end. They're fantastic.
And what's the relationship like with former students that have taken part in the course?
So I have got students that are now heading up their own studios or working in AAA studios. And I love either having them come back as guest presenters, working with me on particular projects.
One of Ken's former students, Anton, has returned to help out with the program.
So originally the primary school that I went to was a rural primary school, and I had to choose what high school in Gympie I was going to go to, and the defining aspect of my choice was Ken's class. I wanted to be a game developer the moment I walked in that door and saw all of his kids coding away. So if you want to be a musician, you do music at school. If you want to be a computer programmer, you don't really have anywhere to go in most cases. And programming, it's a great opportunity. It gives you sort of another way of thinking, I think, where you sort of analyse things a little bit differently, you break them down, look at them a bit more, and it's a great creative outlet as well. Seeing the kids' faces just light up and having taught them something, it's really completing. Makes you feel good.
For Ken Brady, this project is also a personal endeavour.
Oh, bugger! But it has a recharge. Let's see that now. Whoa!
So Ken, you're from Gympie originally. In fact, you went to 1 Mile State School and Gympie High as well.
That's right.
Did you ever think you would be back teaching here?
No, I didn't think I'd even be a teacher, actually, to be honest. It was a career choice I made when I realised that I wanted to give something back. I don't know, that sounds a bit corny, but that is what I wanted to do.
The subject you're basically creating and teaching here
Yep.
is one that is giving back to the community.
It is providing an avenue for students to re-engage with the curriculum where otherwise they hadn't.
Yeah.
It's also providing an opportunity for the development of indie development studios to be able to rebase themselves back in town. Once you've got the NBN in your town and you've got no reason, you don't have to be in a big city to be able to be a game development studio.
Yeah.
And can be back in and growing your own economy within your own town.
You've gone out and sort of explored the world and you've seen what's out there and you've brought back these sort of lessons.
Yeah.
It's quite a unique position to be in.
The ability to be able to inspire is awesome. The ability to be able to put a passion into someone is great. It's why I think teachers become teachers and stay teaching.
You mentioned that with this syllabus that you'd like to see Gympie transform, I think, into your own words, it was sort of the Silicon Valley
Yeah, that'd be
of
fantastic,
Australia.
wouldn't it? Gympie's had so many knocks that to give some way to potentially get back up on its feet a bit would be a nice thing to be able to achieve.
What do you want to see happening well into the future?
The online College of Coding, which has been established through Gympie High, which is slowly starting to permeate out amongst the region, I would like to try and see that take root nationally. Therefore, in the long term, what I'd really like to see is it be able to grow the Australian game development industry.
They just all need to be branded sort of originated or made in Gympie.
Yeah. That's right. Came from Gympie.
Came from Gympie originally, yeah.
That'd be nice.
Thanks, Goose. Necropolis is a third-person action-adventure with roguelike elements that sees you descending into the netherworld.
I think we go this way. Follow me.
I see some red stuff behind. There's a lot.
Yeah, that was good.
We did it. Oh, I've aggroed quite a few.
Oh no, Black Knight, Black Knight.
Oh, teleporting, guys! Yes! Hey, buddy.
Bit of a Dark Souls vibe to this, wouldn't you say, Bajo?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's like they thought, hey, let's take a really hard game like Dark Souls and a really hard genre like the roguelike genre and put them together to see what happens. You know what happens? A lot of pain, a lot of death. In a good way. The biggest similarity is the combat style. You're dealing with slow, carefully timed attacks, blocking and staggering, and stamina management. If you die, you're sent all the way back to the beginning as well, so it has that soul-crushing defeatist mentality to it too. Except being a roguelike, you lose all of your gear as well.
Talk about piling on the pain. The other roguelike elements spring into play with procedurally randomized levels, so at least you're not playing through the exact same sequence over and over.
The starting area doesn't give you much help on how the game actually works, but the discovery process of mechanics and how everything fits together is why I like these kind of games so much. All you get initially is a button tutorial printed on the wall and a few skellies to trash.
There's also a giant pyramid thing with an eye in this kind of rest zone, which is at the end of each level. And he gives you little challenge quests and talks cryptically about what's going on. He's kind of like your netherworld boss, I think.
Yeah, he's got a strange sense of humor as well. Often these quests, once you've completed them, he says that he didn't even want you to do it in the first place. Make up your mind. He's full of humorous lines of dialogue, actually, mocking your attempts to survive and questioning your every step. You can return to these areas for leveling up with gems or buying some items, but most of your gear comes from fallen enemies.
These shields I can get though? I'm totally getting this shield.
And the best from chests.
Chest.
I love that sword.
I don't want it.
Yes, moving deeper into the Necropolis will see you facing labyrinth after labyrinth of twisting dungeons teeming with ghoulish creatures.
Get them before they disappear.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, that one turned into a bad thing. I haven't seen that before.
But maybe it'll give us good stuff. No.
Health is precious, but there is a crafting system too, which allows you to create some food and potions to keep you going, and not just rely on drops.
There's a definite need to be tactful in order to stay alive, trying to kite enemies away so you don't aggro an entire mob and get overwhelmed. Some have ranged attacks, and often you can be surprised by enemies that were hiding.
Oh dear, what's that guy?
Oh, that's like a cave troll.
Or ambushed by groups.
Yeah, similar to my time in Dark Souls, I'm not the best at managing stamina. You know, using my shield to protect myself, timing a few decent swings without getting hit. I always seem to get impatient and strike at the wrong moment, and before I know it, I'm back to square one.
And this is just like Dark Souls in that respect. If you get greedy, you get dead. Careful divide and conquer, and locking on is really important. But it's also that slow trial and error of learning enemies' moves, staying out of their way, and being as precise with timing as possible.
Right, I gotta hammer time these guys.
Kind of awesome at the same time.
Oh,
No, spinning laser ball! Oh, you got it.
Got it.
Nice.
One of the most important mechanics to make use of is charging your secondary heavy attacks, which you do by holding down the right trigger, and you should really be playing this with a controller too. These are really powerful and have unique movesets and aftershocks, and when you see a big group, it's the only way to take them out effectively.
Charged heavy attacks do heaps of damage and can disable enemies, but interestingly, they also eat away at your stamina permanently. So if you do a bunch of these in a row, you'll have very little stamina left for anything else until you replenish it by drinking potions or eating food. Not sure if I like this system, Bajo. It just seems punishing and not in the right way.
I grew to like it because it forces you to make an interesting choice when you're faced with a big mob of enemies. You know, do I use this ability, which probably will work, but also make life harder for me afterwards?
Yeah, it's kind of a last resort or a planned ambush, you know, one or the other.
For sure. I do agree, though, it does get a bit tedious that you have to eat so much food and make so many potions to recover from it, though. And if the regular combat was a bit more fluid and just more fun, then that wouldn't be an issue. Shield bashing, attacking, dodging, it's all just a bit sticky for my liking. It lacks the elegance of the Souls games combat, where each hit feels really satisfying. Mind you, those games have had a long time to get that right now, and overall, this is still pretty solid combat. I like the creature design as well.
Yes, I love the creatures, especially the clockwork knights with their spinning arms and electric weapons. In fact, I loved the look and art style of the game in general. It's simple but really striking. At the start, you're simply choosing between a male or a female robed figure in a variety of colors. You can tell this one's the lady because she's got that signature lady warrior hip wiggle.
Yeah, I love this art style too. The geometry of the walls and the levels, it's also fascinating. And when you're lowered into a big new zone,
Exciting.
Yeah.
or facing off with those red infected creatures that spawn, there's a real sense of danger to this world.
You know, playing this, I was taken back to my nightmarish time in Dark Souls 3 when I could hear your voice saying, "Death is your reward." Well, here I was told death is only the beginning. Well, then kill me now. Or don't. Ah.
Live to die and love the pain, Hex.
Oh, I felt the pain. Not to mention, it's not just the enemies you need to worry about, as the entire Necropolis itself is filled with traps and environmental dangers just waiting to end your run.
It's got that great booby-trapped temple vibe about it.
Yeah. In saying that though, I just feel like there wasn't really enough in this game to keep me coming back. Making the levels procedurally randomized is a great way to keep short-lived runs through this game more interesting, but there still wasn't enough variety there to make me want to keep trying.
It's slow going at times, that's for sure, but for me these games are all about the gear. And every time I'd pick up a new higher tier weapon or shield, or get a new hat, I just wanted to get right back in there. You can also play Necropolis with up to 3 friends if you want to get together and take on these dungeons of death together.
Yeah, and I have to say I welcomed your Dark Souls expertise here. You know, once we were playing together with your help, I had way more fun.
I'll finish him off.
I think the game is just a little easier when you play with friends too, because you can team up and take on enemies as well as revive each other when you go down.
Yeah, although I didn't expect there to be friendly fire, which added some complications when we played together.
Goes like this. And then let go. You do like this super attack. Oh, I just killed you. I can resurrect you. It's all right.
It's tough because you pick up these huge weapons, big swords and axes that have a wide swinging arc and heavy hitting attacks, and it's easy to get caught on the crossfire.
Yeah, we had to warn each other each time we were going to use one of those charged heavy attacks so the other one had a chance to get away in time.
I'm gonna do a big attack.
Well, you were better with the warning than I was.
You were awful at it, every time.
Oh, nice one. Ow! Give me some warning. Give me some warning when you're gonna do that.
I forgot that it Sorry, I'm sorry.
You don't sound sorry.
You warned me when you're in the middle of doing the attack. It's like, what am I supposed to do?
Heavy attack!
It's like, thanks.
You gotta give me warning. Sorry, I forgot.
Yeah, whoops. Although you took me out a few times too.
It's because you just run into my sword. Wait your turn. Stop being greedy.
So it's like a drop down attack. Oh.
Let me just see. I wouldn't mind leveling up.
Big attack.
Oh shit, sorry. I wasn't paying attention.
I was just trying to help. I'm just keen to get in there.
Yeah, but then you get dead.
Well, I think, as you said to me while we were playing, the best strategy really is to kite, divide, and conquer to avoid these kinds of mishaps.
Ow.
Sorry.
Just gotta wait your turn. Wait your turn, Hex.
I get excited.
This was hard enough to manage with just 2 of us. Can you imagine playing this with 4 people?
Oh, yeah, that would be absolute chaos. Did you like it overall?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I think there's probably not enough variety in the game to keep me coming back personally, but this is a very streamlined version of that Souls-esque experience, and I think a lot of people will find some great challenge with.
Nice.
But I definitely recommend teaming up with a buddy to do so. I'm giving it 3 stars.
If they just tightened up that combat a little bit and that hit detection, I would say this would be a must-play for any Souls fan. As it stands, though, there is still a lot of great stuff here. I'm giving it 3.5 stars.
Oh, new hat! Yeah! Do you want my old one? My old one's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Hey, we look pretty boss. Yeah.
So did you name the game for this week? It was Shadowrun Returns on the PC from 2013. This reboot of the beloved cyberpunk RPG franchise was a crowd-funded success and helmed by the creator of the Shadowrun tabletop RPG, Jordan Wiseman. It was also largely inspired by the early 90s Super Nintendo game. And it was unnamed the game because it was developed by Harebrained Schemes, the same studio behind this week's Necropolis. And Hex, do you know they're working on a Battletech game next?
Ooh. Next week on the show, we delve into a brand new MMO, Riders of Icarus. And, you know, we're getting dangerously close to playing No Man's Sky, Bajo.
Oh, Hex. Oh, I actually want to find out what you actually do in that game. I'm pretty excited. Patience, Bajo. Patience.
Well, that's it from us. Until next time, may all your games be good ones. Hex out.
Bajo out. Like, do you just fly to planets and then go, nice planet, and then leave? Because
I'm pretty sure that's going to be it.
I want to be able to at least run over some aliens in my spaceship.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Like Carmageddon style.
I wouldn't mind a bit of herb picking, you know, alien herb foraging.
Really?
For flowers.
That's what you're looking forward to?
Yeah, making some alien herb potions.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Be a bit of a botanist, space botanist.
I mean, really, that is much nicer than the carnage I was planning, so don't know why I'm complaining.
Combine the two.
Oh, yeah.
Something for everyone.
Yeah. It's a game for everyone.